Rebecca could not control her happiness as she had just completed her NYSC service. Her heart was filled with joy and she couldn't wait to rush home and share the good news with her parents. She bought a ticket and took a bus from Cotonou straight to her village in Edo State. When she arrived, her parents saw her and could not contain their joy. Her father danced in excitement while Rebecca stood there smiling brightly in her NYSC uniform. Her mother spread a wrapper on the ground and asked her daughter to step on it. Without hesitation, Rebecca walked majestically on the wrapper, catwalking with every step, her face glowing with happiness. Her father screamed loudly, his voice filled with pride as he called himself the father of a doctor, a medical doctor. The parents hugged their daughter tightly, and together they shed tears of joy. The couple had suffered greatly. They had starved, borrowed money from many places, and sacrificed everything just to see their only child through school. They sold their belongings and endured hardship so her future would not be as difficult as theirs. Overwhelmed with gratitude, they fell to their knees, raised their hands to the sky, and thanked the Almighty. Tears streamed down their faces as they thanked God for seeing their daughter through school, for giving her strength, and for not allowing all their suffering to be in vain. Their only child was now a medical doctor. After the celebration, they took their daughter inside and fed her until her stomach could no longer take any more food. The parents were happy, and Rebecca was happy too. Now she could finally get a job, help her parents, and repay all the debts they had borrowed to pay her school fees. She couldn't wait to start working and change their lives. One morning, Rebecca received a phone call. She was informed that she had been hired as a doctor in a private hospital. When the call ended, Rebecca screamed with joy and immediately shared the good news with her parents. They were overjoyed and once again thanked God for the opportunity He had given their daughter. The next morning, Rebecca left for the hospital, but on her way, something tragic happened to her. She stood at a place where prostitutes of all kinds usually stayed at night. That was where Rebecca stood while waiting for a car that would take her straight to her destination. Unfortunately, she was arrested by the police. They arrested her for the murder of one Chief Eze that happened the previous night. They dragged her into their vehicle, and it was not just dragging, they were beating her mercilessly. Rebecca tried to explain that she did not know what they were talking about, but her words only fell on deaf ears. They took her to the station where they interrogated her. They asked her name, and she replied that her name was Rebecca. Unfortunately for her, the lady who murdered the chief was also named Rebecca. Immediately, the police started beating her. They beat Rebecca mercilessly, trying to force her to confess. They accused her of being the one who killed the chief, the one the chief was with that night, the one who murdered him. Rebecca cried and begged, trying to explain herself, but she was not given the chance. They kept beating her, and none of the officers tried to listen to her even for a second. They claimed that anything that would come out of her mouth would be nothing but a lie, saying that criminals never admit to their crimes. Even if they are held and buried alive, they will never confess. One of the officers even brought very hot water and told her that if she refused to tell the truth, they would force her face into the hot water. Rebecca cried and replied that she had no truth to confess, that she was not the person they were looking for. Without another word, the policeman forced Rebecca's face into the hot water. She screamed in pain. As if that was not enough, he did it again and again. They interrogated Rebecca until her face was injured, her body bruised, her cheeks swollen. Then a policewoman stepped inside and asked the other officers if she had confessed anything. They replied no, that she had refused to talk. The woman grew furious and slapped Rebecca, telling her colleagues that this was how criminals behaved, that even if you pointed a gun at their heads, they would choose to die with the truth. Rebecca's strength was completely gone. She could no longer open her mouth. She was tired of begging, pleading, and trying to explain herself. The policewoman stepped closer and said, "So, you won't speak, right?" She grabbed Rebecca's head and banged it on the table in front of her again and again. Rebecca screamed. The sound of her voice echoed across the interrogation room, and in that sad moment, her spirit left her body. She died. The policewoman touched her and even raised her hand only to realize that she was dead. They did not feel bad that they had killed someone. Instead, they felt angry that she did not confess before she died. After a drifted silence, one of the officers said, "Let's try to get the information about where she came from and return her corpse to her people." "No. How can we return her corpse to her people? What if we are held responsible for her death? Is it not better we look for one bush and bury her there? I don't want this to affect my job," the other policeman replied. "You are right," the policewoman added. "If we turn in her body without any good explanation, we are going to be held responsible for her death, and this will definitely affect our jobs." Me, I don't want to lose my job, that too because of a petty prostitute. But don't worry, we can just tell her people anything. Let's just get their address first. What we are going to tell them will not be a problem at all. After all, we are police. Who is going to suspect us? They searched Rebecca's bag. They brought out her things slowly, one after the other. Then they stumbled upon her ID, and that changed everything they thought about her. They saw the address and saw that she was a medical doctor. With all the information they got from her bag, it left them shattered, because now they understood that indeed she was innocent. She did not know anything about the chief or who he was. They understood that she was nothing but a mere passerby who shared the same name with the person they were looking for. They couldn't believe it. They looked at her ID again, and her details did not change. The policewoman fell on the floor, grabbing her head in shock. "Oh no, I have just killed an innocent woman." But she didn't cry much. She stood up, collected Rebecca's phone, went through her contacts, and stumbled upon a number saved as father. The policewoman looked at her colleague before dialing the number. Rebecca's father picked up the call and sounded so worried. "My dear, why didn't you contact us and tell us that you won't be coming back for a few days? You made me and your mother very worried." He was still speaking when the policewoman spoke with a shaking breath. "Good day, sir. This is Inspector Jovita from the station." She directed Rebecca's father to a place where he should come to see her daughter and asked him to come immediately. When the call ended, Rebecca's father was so scared. He told his wife what the police had said, and the couple, worried, decided to go together. When they arrived at the address that was sent to them, the policewoman and her colleague came out looking quite sad. Rebecca's father was the one that spoke first. "Please, Inspector, where is my child?" The policewoman did not say anything. She didn't even know where to begin, how to place the words, or how to break the bad news to the parents of the victim. She only said with a cold and low voice, "Please, come with me." She took them to a place where Rebecca's lifeless body was kept. She pointed at her, signaling to them that this was their daughter. "My own daughter," Rebecca's mother said as she opened the veil covering her daughter's face. When she saw Rebecca's face, she let out a loud scream. "Hey, no, this is not true," she cried. "This can't be true." She fell down, grabbing her daughter, crying, screaming, and shaking her, asking her to wake up, asking her to stand, asking her to talk to her. "Please, Rebecca, my dear, please stand up and let's go home. Don't prank your old mother like this. You know I'm old and this kind of joke is not good for me. Do you want to give me a heart attack? Please stand up, let's go." She cried, asking her daughter to stand up, asking her to stop pranking her, saying that she is old and her body does not need this kind of prank. But Rebecca did not move. Her body remained still. Then the old woman finally realized that it wasn't a prank. Even her husband, Rebecca's father, had believed it was a prank and was standing, waiting for his daughter to stand up, but she didn't. The man collapsed on the floor, unable to take the shock, and right there, Rebecca's mom did not only lose a daughter, but a husband. Rebecca's father died instantly as his body was not able to accept the news. Rebecca's mother clung to her husband, shaking him and shaking her daughter. She held both their lifeless bodies, crying. "Who have I offended?" she asked. "God of my fathers, the God that I served, why did you allow this to happen to me? The only child you gave me, the only thing that kept me going in this life has been snatched away, and even my husband too. God, who did I offend?" She spoke as tears ran down her cheeks like water. The policewoman and her colleagues stood beside her as they watched the whole thing, their hearts heavy with regret. Then the policewoman stepped forward, trying to comfort her. "Please calm down, ma. God knows best. Look at your husband. He's lying dead. Do you want to end up like him? Do you want your entire family to die on the same day? You have to be strong, because I know that wherever your daughter is right now, she would not want you to be shedding these tears. She would want you to be strong." Rebecca's mom cried even more and replied, "Look at my daughter. Look at my husband, both lying lifeless. What am I living for? What should I live for? Please tell me, what should I live for? No, I don't want to live. I don't want to be alive anymore. I want to join them. They can't leave me all alone. Who are they leaving me for? An old woman like me? Who should I stay with? What should I live for? Everything is gone." She threw herself on the floor, rolling, asking death to take her life. Her tears pierced the officers' hearts as they watched the mother cry, and they blamed themselves for everything that was happening to her. By the time Rebecca's mother finally stopped crying, she stood up with a heavy heart and asked the policewoman, "What exactly happened to my daughter?" The policewoman glanced at her colleague before replying, "She was run over by a car and the driver escaped after hitting her. We wanted to take her to the hospital, but we realized she was already dead. Then we checked her phone, and that was how we found your husband's contact and decided to call him. At least that was all we could do for her as police officers." The policewoman asked her not to cry, saying that God knows best. She called an ambulance, and she and her colleague moved the two bodies, Rebecca and her father, into the vehicle. But as the car drove away, the heaviness in their hearts grew heavier. They knew that because of their carelessness, they had not just killed a daughter, but a father as well. They felt bad, but could not help it. What had happened, and we cannot change the hands of time, the policewoman told her colleague. Then she turned and faced them. "No matter what happens, even if heaven is falling, no one must know that we are the ones that killed her, or we will not only lose our jobs, we will also be punished for killing an innocent person." The three policemen swore to each other to take the truth of what really happened to her to their graves, saying they were not ready to lose their jobs or be punished for a mistake they did not do intentionally. When Rebecca's mom got home, the two bodies were kept in her compound. Rebecca's mom did not stop crying. Many villagers and people that knew the family gathered. Many were crying. Many were questioning God. Many were saying they reject such a bad situation whereby you will have to lose not just a child but a husband on the same day. After a lot of tears were shed in the compound, one elder stood up and said, "Their bodies need to be taken to the mortuary while we plan how to bury them and put them to rest." All the elders present agreed that their bodies should be taken to the mortuary. But Rebecca's mother stood up and said that she does not have any problem with her husband being taken to the mortuary. Her husband's corpse could be taken to the mortuary, but her daughter's body would not be taken anywhere. She said her daughter's lifeless body had to stay with her. The villagers and the elders thought she was joking. They thought she was speaking like this because of what she was going through. One of the elders stepped close to her and said, "Please, take heart, my dear. What happened to you is what we cannot even wish for our enemies. But since it has happened, your child's and your husband's bodies need to be taken care of. For now, they have to take their bodies to the mortuary." But Rebecca's mother repeated that they could take her husband's corpse to the mortuary, but her daughter's corpse must remain here with her. The elders and the villagers tried to reason with her, but the woman stood her ground. She begged the villagers and the elders not to question her or insist. She begged them to allow her to spend some time with her daughter's corpse for a few days before they would take her away. The villagers and the elders, though they did not know what her intention was, seeing her state, accepted and agreed to her demand. Her husband's corpse was taken to the mortuary, and Rebecca's corpse was arranged neatly in her small room. From that day, Rebecca's mother changed completely. Something dark was born inside her. She stopped crying, she stopped eating. She started wearing just one cloth. Not only that, in the same room where her daughter's lifeless body was kept, she began staying there. She locked the windows and the door. She lay down close to her daughter's corpse and she began shouting her daughter's name. She chanted and chanted, calling the name non-stop. "Rebecca, Rebecca, Rebecca." She called it over and over and over again. Though no one was answering her, she kept shouting the name. She did not allow the name to rest. She did not rest. She kept chanting the name from morning till night, till the next day, and so on. Then one fateful day, as Rebecca's mother was chanting her daughter's name, she noticed that the wind had changed. It was day, but it almost seemed like night. The wind blew and everything in the room began to shake violently. Some things fell to the floor. The cup, even the glass plates on the table fell and shattered on the floor. The curtain of the room was waving violently. Though the windows were locked, the wind in the room was very heavy. But in the midst of all this, Rebecca's mother did not stop chanting her daughter's name. She kept chanting the name until she noticed that the room door, which was locked, had now opened. Only then did she stop. She stood on her feet and whispered, "Go, my daughter. Do not spare the one who snatched away your life. Whosoever it is that kept you in this situation today, do not spare them. Just like they snatched your life away from you, snatch their life and even that of their families, that of their loved ones. Snatch it from them. Fear no one. Go and take your revenge." When she finished, she burst into laughter that echoed across the room. Rebecca's spirit was indeed awakened. She went to the police station, the place where she met her end, the place where her life was snatched away from her, and she began her revenge there in a brutal way. At the police station, Rebecca began killing the officers. She killed many of them. She was not only attacking the people who killed her. Once you were wearing a police uniform, Rebecca would bring you down. Anyone connected to the officers in the station where her life was taken was not spared. That was how brutal her revenge was. Many were killed. The police station became a place of chaos, a place of confusion, a place where dead bodies were found every few seconds. Then she began locating the particular officers who killed her. She visited the first one. She appeared in his house and looked around, then moved quickly like the wind. Within seconds, she reached the bathroom. The victim, the one she was looking for, was in the bathroom taking his shower. Suddenly, the bathroom door burst open by itself. The policeman inside froze in fear. He wanted to scream but could not. He wanted to run, but it was as if his legs were stitched to the ground. Rebecca walked slowly until she stood close to him. Then she raised her hand to his face. Water began to pour from her hand straight into his mouth. So much water. She did not lower her hand and the man did not move. She drowned him there. After that, she left and went to the next person's apartment. This time, it was the woman, the particular policewoman who murdered her. The policewoman saw her and she screamed. She immediately ran, but no one could run faster than the wind. Rebecca caught up with her. The policewoman fell to her knees, pleading and begging her to spare her life, saying she did not mean to kill her and that it was a mistake. Rebecca stepped closer, grabbed her by the hair and banged her head mercilessly in front of her. Blood flowed. She killed the policewoman. After that, she left and went back to the police station, where she found the third man. She found him inside the interrogation room, interrogating someone. She appeared in the room at first as invisible. No one could see her. She stood calmly, listening to their conversation. Then, with a wave of her hand, the door of the interrogation room opened and closed again. The policeman was scared. Even the man he was interrogating was terrified. When they turned around, they saw her standing there, her hair flying. She looked furious, very furious. The policeman fell to his knees and began begging. He told her that what happened was not intentional and begged her to forgive him. She stepped closer to the man he was interrogating and signaled him to leave. Without wasting a second, he ran so fast his legs almost touched the back of his head. He did not look back. Rebecca stretched out her hand and a bowl of hot water appeared. She grabbed the police officer's face, raised it up and poured the hot water onto his face. The policeman wanted to scream in pain but could not. His mouth would not move. She ordered him to go and confess, to tell everyone what they did to her, how they killed her, and how they decided to keep the truth to themselves. Without wasting time, the policeman ran out of the interrogation room into the DPO's office. When he got there, the DPO stood up immediately and asked what had happened to his face. But the policeman only replied, "We did it. We are the ones who did it. We are the ones who killed her." The DPO asked, "What do you mean? Kill who? What are you talking about?" The policeman was terrified. He looked around, searching for any sign of Rebecca, but she was not in the room. He wanted to change the topic. Then Rebecca appeared in the office. He screamed and said, "Don't kill me, I am confessing." He told the DPO how they killed Rebecca and decided to keep the truth to themselves. He also explained how they deceived the victim's parents into believing their daughter died in a motor accident. After he explained everything, it was as if pepper had been poured all over the DPO's body. Filled with anger, he responded in a shaking but furious voice, "You people killed an innocent person in this station and even decided to conceal the truth? What a crime!" Before the policeman could say another word, Rebecca's spirit lunged at him and killed him. He fell dead in front of the DPO. After she was done with her revenge, she returned to the same room where her body was kept. She watched her mother lying close to her body, shedding tears. Then the door closed with great force. Her mother stood up and looked at the door that had been opened but was now closed. She whispered, "Well done, my dear. You have done well." She was not seeing anything. She could not see her daughter's spirit, but she felt it deep in her bones. When the door had opened, she knew her daughter's spirit had left. Now that the door was closed, it meant her daughter's spirit had returned and was done with the task of revenge. She cried and repeated, "Well done, my dear. Now I can proudly lay you to rest beside your dear father." That same day, she went to the elders and told them she had decided to transfer her daughter to the mortuary. The elders looked at each other and replied that she had made the right decision. That day, they called an ambulance which came and took her daughter's body to the mortuary. The elders were about to leave the compound after the ambulance departed when they saw a car approaching. They were surprised. One of them asked Rebecca's mother if she was expecting anyone. She replied and said no. Some policemen stepped out from the car. It turned out to be the DPO and some of his men. The elders offered them chairs and they sat down with heavy hearts. The DPO explained everything that had happened to their daughter, how she was interrogated to death for a crime she did not commit. The elders were furious. One of them stood up forcefully and declared that those responsible should be sentenced to life imprisonment. But the DPO shook his head and replied that the 3 culprits had already died. Not only that, he explained that all the officers working in that station had been killed by an unknown force. The station itself was now empty, with no police officer left alive. He said he was the only surviving officer in that station. The DPO pleaded with Rebecca's mother to forgive him, saying he blamed himself for not being vigilant enough to stop them. The elders looked at one another, then at Rebecca's mother, but no one spoke. After much pleading from the DPO, Rebecca's mother finally spoke. "What is the need for asking for forgiveness when my only child's life was taken? What makes you think I will forgive you? Those who killed my daughter are dead, and their souls shall forever remain restless. They shall never have peace of mind wherever they are. They did not only kill my daughter, they also took my husband from me." The DPO fell on his knees and continued begging, but it was as if Rebecca's mother's heart had turned to stone. Then something happened. A glass of water placed neatly on the table fell on its own and shattered, spilling water on the floor. They all looked around but did not take it seriously. Rebecca's mother felt something different. She stood up, walked to where the glass had fallen, and stared at it for a while. Then she went back and sat down. Only then did she say, "I forgive you. I forgive you because you are not the one who killed my daughter. What happened was not your fault. You did not know about it. The people who committed the crime have already been punished by nature itself. So I forgive you." The DPO stood up and thanked her. Not only that, he volunteered to be the son she never had, to take care of her until her last day. He promised to take up the responsibilities that were meant to be done by Rebecca. He also promised to send officers who would stay with her, run errands for her, and help with small tasks. The DPO promised to be the son she never had. From that day on, he kept his word. He visited Rebecca's mother 5 times a week. All the debts she and her late husband owed were repaid by the DPO. He bought her clothes and wrappers. Though he knew nothing he did could make her stop missing her daughter, he tried his best to make the pain less unbearable. The pain of losing a husband and a child on the same day. He promised himself to stay by the old woman's side until her last breath, to care for her like his own mother. Months later, Rebecca was buried beside her father. The villagers gathered. Even the DPO and his men were present as they said farewell to father and daughter.